The real reasons my startup will fail. You're going to make mistakes as a startup CEO. Some mistakes are not as obvious as other mistakes. And it's usually these non-obvious mistakes that will cause your startup to fail. That's what today's video is all about. I'll share with you 10 non-obvious mistakes you don't want to make. And I'll share what you can do if you've already made these mistakes. Plus, you'll want to stick around for my one final thought segment, where I reveal the one mistake that's almost always impossible to overcome. I hope you like it. Hi, I'm Brett. On my channel, I help early stage startup CEOs like you raise money and grow your startup. So if this sounds like you, then hit that subscribe button and the bell so you get notified every time I release a new video. Let's get started. And let's start with number 1 on my list. Number 1. You're too focused on your product, not the marketing. Let's say you and your team have created a great, groundbreaking product. You quickly develop the MVP and launch the product to market. Then nothing happens. No one is buying your product. You know the product is great, and you and your team are left wondering what happened. Usually, the problem is your marketing and sales strategy is not well thought out. None other than NVIDIA's CEO, Jensen Huang, believes that marketing and sales are just as important as the product you are selling. And I do too. The point is, you can't treat your go-to-market strategy as an afterthought. Do the research and the work to figure out how your target customers are going to become aware that you exist. You can read Gabriel Weinberg's great book, Traction, for a great way to figure this out. Let's move to number 2 on my list. Number 2. You hire too quickly. Let's say that you introduced your product to market and it's selling. That's great. Now it's time to scale. So you grow your team and revenue doesn't grow nearly as quickly as you expected. You're going to be out of money before you hit your next milestone. And your chances of raising money go way down. It's another classic mistake. The solution is tying your spending growth to your revenue growth. The simple way to do this is developing 3 financial plans: a best case plan, a mid case plan, and a worst case plan. Then you adjust your spending for each plan. If you can afford a fractional controller, this is something they should be doing for you. I like running a company to the worst case plan until I see evidence that we are going to exceed it. Then I'll up my spending accordingly. Next, let's move to number 3 on my list. Number 3. You and your team are working on the wrong things. There's no shortage of things that you and your team can be doing. Should you be focused on the product? Should you be focused on recruiting? Should you be working on the marketing? Should you be meeting with customers? The list is endless. You, the CEO, have to decide what's really important and what isn't important. It's a huge challenge figuring this out because everything seems so urgent. If you have a small team, then you need to divide, conquer, and follow up. In my case, I focused on recruiting and marketing, while my co-founder, Jeroen, focused on the technical development and recruiting as well. Then we would catch up daily to talk through where we were. As the team expanded, we had weekly review meetings for each area of the company. This allowed us to move quickly and keep everyone pointed in the right direction. Next, let's move to number 4 on my list. Number 4. You don't fire fast enough. One of my co-founders, Randy, was causing lots of problems almost immediately after we got funded. I knew he likely needed to be fired, but I was hesitating on pulling the trigger. I met with my advisor, Dave, about what to do. After I told Dave about the problems Randy was causing, Dave told me I should fire him. He then told me, I guarantee you that some members of your team are going to ask you, what took you so long? Dave was right. You, the CEO, are always the last person to realize that a founder or a key employee needs to go. Hiring mistakes are normal. However, you have a responsibility to the other founders, employees, board members, investors, and your customers to correct these problems quickly. Let's move to number 5 on my list. Number 5. Your first big customer becomes your downfall. Let's say you win a huge deal. Congratulations. You and your team are thrilled. It's great news, but you have to be careful to not make some critical mistakes. Let's go through a few of them. The first mistake is you negotiate bad terms, such as allowing the customer to cancel the order with little or no notice. This can kill you if you're making a physical product. The second mistake is you let this one customer use up all your resources, especially your technical resources. Now you can't make progress on your development efforts. And this can kill the progress of your company if you're not careful. The third problem is you need to grow beyond this one customer because your valuation will also suffer too. The key when you land that first customer is managing your hiring, spending, and growth properly. Just because you have a big customer doesn't mean you have a scalable business model yet. Next, let's move to number 6 on my list. Number 6. You assume great investors will solve your problems. They won't. Let's say you're having trouble getting access to your customers. You believe that the solution is to raise money from investors that will make these introductions for you and solve the problem. I am certain that someone watching this video will say that happened to them. However, these stories are the exception, not the rule. Yes, you might need capital to grow your business, but pitching investors that you need their introductions and help is usually a non-starter. Investors are expecting you to have the solutions of how to grow your business, not them. Yes, investors will make introductions if they can, but here's the deal. You know your business and your end markets better than your investors do. That's why you need a plan of how you're going to grow your startup without the operational help of your investors. Next, let's move to number 7 on my list. Number 7. You ignore founder burnout until it's too late. About 1 month after our initial funding, I was invited to a meeting a well-known Silicon Valley VC fund sponsored. The panel featured a few of the fund's portfolio companies. A member of the audience asked one of the CEOs about work-life balance. I'll never forget the answer. The CEO seemed insulted by the question. He said, "Work-life balance? This is a startup. There is no such thing as work-life balance." I cringed as I listened to the answer. I imagined the CEO's employees working insane hours, week after week, month after month, without a break. Every startup has multiple crises where you need to push really hard if your startup is going to survive. Your team will not have the energy to push really hard if they're always being driven to the limit. The better way is learning when to put on the gas and when to apply the brakes. In other words, give your team some downtime when they don't have to floor it. Next, let's move to number 8 on my list. Number 8. You chase too many opportunities instead of doubling down. Let's say your company has had success running YouTube ads to grow your business. For every dollar you're spending on the ads, you're generating $7 in revenue. That's a great result. Now, you decide instead of increasing the amount of money you're spending on YouTube ads, you're going to start advertising on Facebook and Instagram. The results aren't as good. Your return on ad spend is a dismal $1 for every $1 you spend. This is one example where you should have doubled down by increasing your YouTube ad spend to increase your revenue. You can make the same mistake in other ways, such as going after a second end market instead of continuing to focus on the first end market you're focused on. You can make this mistake with expanding your product offering too quickly. The bottom line is, laser focus is usually the route to success for early stage startups. Next, let's move to number 9 on my list. Number 9, you over-engineer before getting your product to market. The Silicon Valley is littered with the rubble of startups that had a great idea that was never released to the market, or it took way too long to release. The problem these companies had was they had an overly complicated product that was too difficult for an early stage startup to develop. The trick is developing an initial product that can get you to market quickly and sell. You do this by reducing the features and functionality of your initial product and focusing on the right end market. The product may have significant flaws. However, your product is so good that your customers will use it despite the flaws. This is what's called a disruptive product, and it's a key to startup success. Next, let's move to the last one on my list, number 10. Number 10, you're not ruthless about cutting what doesn't work. I recently began working with the CEO of a startup whose growth had stalled. Bob had 5 different markets with 5 different products his company was focused on. His initial market and product offering was successful. However, the other 4 products were failing. Worse yet, he was burning a ton of cash in these 4 unsuccessful markets. Digging deeper into Bob's challenges, it was clear he needed to cut back his company's efforts or he would run out of cash. As a CEO, you have to quickly and unemotionally take action when something isn't working. Now, if this content is resonating with you, then please hit the like button right now. One final thought. It is almost impossible to overcome a bad investor. A bad investor can destroy your company and keep you from getting the necessary funding you need. The challenge is, how do you identify a bad investor before taking their money? Here are the 3 things you can do. First, look at the behavior of the investor. An investor that isn't treating you well before the investment is going to be even worse after the investment. Second, ask the investor to provide you with the names of other CEOs you can talk to. They're going to check your references. Why not check theirs? Third, look at the terms the investor is proposing. For example, a tranche is usually a bad sign. Now, I have 2 more things for you today. First, my free startup pitch deck template. It has all the slides you need to develop an awesome pitch deck. Click the link below to get yours for free. Second, join my free group of startup CEOs, Zero to Pitch. It's a community for startup CEOs focused on growing their companies and raising funding for their companies. Click the link below to join. Finally, click the subscribe button to get notified every time I release a new video. I'm Brett at brettjfox.com. Thanks for watching today. Take care. Bye.